Dwight D. Eisenhower, sworn in as the 34th President of the US of A. Peter Pan, premieres. Elizabeth II is crowned Queen of England. The year is 1953, and this Ford Crescent Line Victoria was brand new. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that puts the spotlight on the cars that are not often talked about. We cover the classics, vintage, some exotics, lots of orphan cars, and cars that are off the beaten path. We dive in deep with specs, period, ads, button switches, and knobs. We talk design, but most importantly, we show what these cars are like. If that sounds like a channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. This 1953 Ford Crestline Victoria is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania. For those unfamiliar about Classic Auto Mall, let me tell you, it's literally like walking into heaven. Every day is an indoor car show day there. It doesn't cost anything to get in there, and anybody can go. For more information, pricing, and pictures pertaining to this very car, be sure to click the link below after the show. Let's talk 1953 Ford model lineup. Ford offered three models. They offered the main line, the custom line, and the crest line. The biggest difference between the main line and the custom line and the crest line was trim and interior materials used. The main line having little to no trim. Crest line was dressed to the nines. Custom line was in the center, so it had a little bit of trim, but not quite as much as the crest line. Ford would offer the crest line for 3 years, 1952, 1953, and 1954. This era of Ford replaced the bullet nose, aka shoebox Ford 49 Ford, which was also produced for 3 years. 1953 Crestline could be had as the Sunliner convertible, Country Squire wagon, and Victoria hardtop. The 53 is more or less a carryover body design with some subtle changes. So let's compare the 52 on top, 53 on the bottom, starting in the front. Same overall shape. Grille and bumpers are totally different. The bullet centerpiece is redesigned. Turn signals go from round to rectangular in 53. The bumpers and overriders also look different as well. The hood looks different on the 53. It's smooth. It does not have a center line like this 52 looks to have. Also, the 52 looks like it has a lower profile than the 53. Just a wee bit taller, the 53 looks. Hood ornaments may be different as well. Can't really tell because this shot's kind of grainy on the 52, and I couldn't find a clearer shot than this. Moving to the side profile, belt line trim has been revised. The 53 has a lower rocker trim that isn't seen on the 52. Look at the rear wheel bulge on the 53 versus the 52. Wire wheels versus full discs. And that may have been an option on 52 as well. Rear view, the biggest difference that I can see is the three-piece windshield on the 52 versus the single piece on the 53. Also added a bit of blitz in the center of the deck, plus backup lights on the 53. Moving inside to take a gander at the dash and interior, they're very similar, yet some key differences. Horn buttons are different, gauge faces, the main binnacle are different. Which do you like better in the comment section below? Let's talk specs. 197.8 inches long, 73.9 inches wide, 62.1 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 115 inches. It weighs 3,173 pounds. Price, $2,120, which is equivalent to you spending $24,147.91 in the year 2023. 1953 Ford production numbers was 1,247,542 units, of which total Crestline 180,164, and of that number, 128,302 were the Victoria hardtop variety. Moving on to engines, only one engine on offer for the 1953 Ford Crestline. That is the Strato V8, which was a 239 cubic inch displacement flathead V8 3.9 liters. It's worth mentioning Ford did offer the Mileage Maker 6, but it wasn't available for the Crestline. The 239 was good for 110 horsepower, 3,800 RPM, 196 pound-feet of torque at 1,800 RPM with a bore of 3.2 inches and a stroke of 3.8 inches. Compression 7.21 to 1. Featured 3 main bearings. When backed with a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 15.6 seconds. 85 miles an hour is the theoretical top speed, while achieving 14.3 mpg average. Moving on to transmissions, 3 transmissions on offer: 3-speed manual, 3-speed automatic, Ford-O-Matic, or the overdrive unit. Let's talk styling. Look at how these headlights sit back inside there. They're recessed with a nice stainless bezel ring around it. Turn signal indicators, as well as just look at all of the different textures and layers going on. I love how this is pinstriped bullet nose, 50s Ford badge. Coming up and looking at the hood, it's a very smooth design. There isn't a center line. Nice hood ornament though. Looks like a rocket ship. Overriders or bumperettes. Coming down the side. I love this car in this color. Teal is my favorite color. Fender flares. Check out crestline molding that runs the belt line of the car. A nice V8 badge. There is stainless running the rocker panel as well, and it's textured. As my friend calls it, suicide wipers. They wipe opposite. Look at all the stainless around the windshield. This car does have drip rails that run the length of the car. Check out side mirror placement mounted right on the driver's door. How this is all textured. Look at this bulge. Spear. I always loved this. This is my favorite era of Ford too, from the 50s, 52 to 54. These fender skirts and how they're flared. Look at this line. Also notice how it tapers back into the body. I love this Ford rear end design. I love how this looks like a jet thruster and how this comes back. The bumpers. This one has a Continental spare tire kit built into the back. So just take a look at that, how it's integrated part into the trunk. Look at how this shape is integrated into the trunk. So look at the rear window, all of the stainless. How this looks like ribs. This door has some heft to it. It's pretty thin. There's my hand for reference. But just look at the color combinations. Black and white interior. Armrest, door handle to pull the door shut. This is the door handle to get out. Window crank for the big window, and operates like this. Notice it's channeled at the top as well as on the side here so that it can cover up this gasket and in theory not leak. It meets with this gasket up on top, in theory not to leak. Vent window, it operates like that. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, high beam switch, clutch, brake, gas pedal, hand brake. Just take a look at this interior. If I was buying a car in 53, this is what I would buy. I love the black and white interior on the teal color with the black roof.
Stunning color combination.
On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left and moving right. Wipers, ignition, headlights, air vent, oil pressure, gasoline, coolant temperature, amp meter, speedometer with odometer. Notice the turn signal indicators are in the bottom corners. Interior lights, lighter, fan blower motor, choke, radio, clock, overdrive, heat and ventilation controls. 2 sliders. The top controls temperature, off, medium, high. The second slider controls ventilation, heat, defrost, aftermarket coolant temperature.
Here's what over the hood impression looks like. Here's what first person over the hood looks like. And man, wouldn't that be nice to drive something like this, where you're looking at this awesome dashboard and beautiful over the hood view. It really makes me want one of these. Anyway, up above are sun visors. Look, they're two-toned. They're a bit on the slender side. Here's my hand for reference. Rear view mirror in the center. Another sun visor for the passenger. Once again on the slender side. But there. This steering wheel is absolutely massive, but I like it. It's not too thick. It feels nice in your hands. Very proper. Underneath the steering wheel, there is room for size 36 pants, and I fit in this car beautifully. There's probably a good 2, maybe 3 inches between the bottom of the steering wheel and my lap. Let's talk about these seats. These seats are really comfortable. Very, very plushy material. In the front seat, the seat profile is, it feels great. Very comfortable. On to the glove box test. Here is our test subject. Here is my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. All right, so it fits in the glove box, kind of, sort of, but it doesn't shut. So and I'm not sure if this glove box was any bigger, because, and the only reason I'm saying that is because it looks like they custom fitted a speaker right here. So I don't know if they took part of the glove box out and just fabricated it to this small little glove box. Not sure. But the GoPro fits in the glove box, no problem at all. Getting in the rear seat, just pull the seat forward. That is how much space you have to get back there. Here's what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a real quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. It's really nice and airy in this car. Right before we talk about the rear window situation, I believe these are lights. Light location. Look at the visibility out the rear window. Absolutely incredible. It's wraparound. It starts right there and it goes the clear around. I love seeing that spare tire back there. That's pretty cool. Creature comforts. There are some. There's a coat hook there. We already talked about the lights on both the pillars. There's a coat hook on this side. Armrest as well as ashtray. Look at this. The windows do go down back here and they operate like this. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? Seat profile is a lot like the front seat, but I will say it does dip down quite a bit back here, more so in the back than it did in the front. And the back is more upright and it tucks in. It like bulges in the center here. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of weird. Here's my knee situation. I got enough space to put my finger in between my knee and the back of the seat. All things considered, it's really not that bad back here for a full-size adult. If you were going to a car show, I've been in a lot of Fords. I've been in a lot of Fords from the 50s. I would venture to say that there's more space in the back of this 53 Ford than there is in a 58 Ford or a 57 Ford. Those cars are huge, but the back seat isn't very big, nor is it comfortable. The seat is it's not as plushy as this seat, and I get it. This one's top of the line, but these seats are so comfortable that even though that this seating position isn't the best seating position, it's not the end of the world because the cushion on this feels very, very thick. Coming to the under the hood section, just hit this here.
Just look at that flathead V8. Notice it has a single master cylinder with no power brakes. This one does not have power steering, has the generator right up on top. Oil filter right there at the top as well, oil bath air cleaner. Looking at the other side, notice it has a 6-volt battery and all of the heating stuff going on. On the positive side, spacious interior. I'm willing to bet the farm that there is more space in the rear of a 52 through 54 Ford than, say, a 57 through 59 Ford. Smallish footprint. All things considered, I love the gauges. They're super easy to read, very plushy seats. The styling is my favorite styling of any Ford from the 50s. Against it, and this is more or less for me, I wish the crestline was offered with a 6-cylinder because with it making 101 horsepower, all one really needs to do to be on par with the V8 is to add another carburetor, and you'll be there, perhaps even a tad more. And honestly, the 6 is a better engine. The 6 doesn't overheat. Anyway, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1953 Plymouth or a 1953 Ford or a 1953 Chevy? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Moving to the second scenario. And I know these aren't in the same price bracket, but if you had the choice, which one would you take? 53 Ford, 53 Mercury, or 53 Lincoln? To me, I just shot a 54 Mercury, and that might be my favorite Mercury of all time. And I just said the 55 through 56 was, but I might have to take that back because those Mercuries are out of this world. With the quality in materials used, it's almost unreal. Anyway, now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and song title. First person to do both correctly will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. If you don't have Facebook and would like to reach me, send me an email. All of that will be linked in the description below. Just know I appreciate all of the support. And until next time, toodaloo!